Nigeria una get mind though. So una get mind, so una wan sue CNN. Una well done, no, my country people. Good morning, my wonderful people. Good afternoon, good evening, and I greet you all according to your time. I remain your favorite baby girl, Anointed Lady TV. If you are new to this channel, you are highly welcome. And if you have been watching me, you've not subscribed, please kindly hit that red button where the road subscribe and put on the notification bell, so that whenever I upload any video, you will be notified. To all my returning subscribers, thank you very much for tuning in. And to my new subscribers, you are officially welcome. Thank you very much for your support. Let's watch this video below. I will be right back.
To ask those who have alleged massacre at the Lekki toll gate to go to the judicial panel to present their evidence or evidences to the world, or simply admit that they've goofed and they have deceived the whole world. Like everyone else, I watched the CNN report yesterday. I must tell you that it reinforces the disinformation that is going round, and it is blatantly irresponsible and a poor piece of journalistic work by a reputable international news organization. CNN engaged in incredible sensationalism and did a great disservice to itself and to journalism. The first instance, CNN, which touted its report as an exclusive investigative report, sadly relied on the same videos that have been circulating on social media without verification. This is very serious, and CNN should be sanctioned for that. CNN merely said the videos were obtained by CNN without saying where from and whether or not it authenticated them. Were CNN reporters and cameramen at the Lekki toll gate that evening? If the answer is no, on what basis were they reporting? Relying on second or third-hand information and presenting it as CNN investigations? Why didn't the CNN balance its story by showing the compelling testimony of Brigadier General Taiwo before the judicial panel in Lagos? Is this one-sided reporting what is expected from an international media organization or any serious news organization? If CNN had done its investigation properly, it would have known how fake news and disinformation were trending during the NSAS crisis. The BBC even did a report on this and will recommend that report to the CNN. Talking about the BBC, a report with the BBC's pidgin service, Damilola Banjo. Talking about the BBC, a reporter with the BBC's pidgin service, Damilola Banjo, was at Lekki toll gate protest ground that night. She was quoted as saying soldiers were indeed at the toll gate, but they shot sporadically into the air and not at the protesters. CNN, that was not at the scene, reported otherwise. In hearing its so-called investigative report, CNN conveniently forgot that on October 23, 2020, it tweeted from its verified Twitter handle that the military killed 38 people when it opened fire on peaceful protesters on Tuesday, October 20, 2020. Less than a month later, the same CNN, in what it called an exclusive report based on a rehash of old, unverified videos, was only able to confirm that one person died in the same incident. In its jaundice reporting, CNN was blind to the fact that 6 soldiers and 37 policemen were killed in unprovoked attacks. Obviously, CNN did not consider the security agents human enough. CNN, in its investigation, was blind to the CNN in its investigation was blind to the wanton destruction of property in Lagos and across the country. Also, CNN instead, it went to town with unverified social media footages in its desperation to prove that people were killed at the Lekki toll gate. Again, this is irresponsible journalism for which CNN deserves to be sanctioned. We insist that the military did not shoot at protesters at Lekki toll gate. They fired blank ammunition in the air. Again, anyone who knows anyone who was killed at Lekki toll gate should head straight to the judicial panel with conclusive evidence of such. At this point, it is important to say that the federal government is very satisfied with the role played by the security agencies, especially the military and the police, all through the NSAS crisis. The security agents were professional and measured in their response. Even when their lives were at stake, they exercised uncommon restraint. Their professionalism and measured response saved many lives and properties. For example, despite arresting hordes of looters during the violence in Lagos, the army treated them humanely and even counseled them before handing them over to the police. The same cannot be said of those who unleashed mayhem on the security agents, killing and maiming them, sometimes in such a barbaric manner that is unprecedented in these parts. As I said earlier, 6 soldiers and 37 policemen were killed all over the country during the crisis. This is in addition to 196 policemen who were injured, 164 police vehicles that were destroyed, and 134 police stations that were razed. Also, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the Nigerian Immigration Service all lost infrastructure, equipment, and other valuables to attack by hoodlums during the crisis. 8 medium security custodial centers in 6 states, Edo, Lagos, Abia, Delta, Ondo, and Ebonyi, were attacked with 1,957 inmates set free and 31 staff injured. The federal government will therefore not accept a situation in which some so-called human rights bodies and journalist media organizations will continue to harass the security agencies over their rules during the crisis. Soldiers, policemen, and other security agents deserve commendation, not condemnation. Except, of course, their critics are saying they are not human beings and that their own rights do not matter. It is depressing and demoralizing to continue to vilify men and women in uniform, who themselves were victims of senseless violence unleashed by hoodlums. The role of human rights organizations, in particular, became suspect after they simply ignored the brutal killing and maiming of security agents during the crisis, as well as the orgy of violence that left 57 civilians dead, 269 private corporate facilities burnt, looted or vandalized, 243 government facilities burnt, vandalized, and 81 government warehouses looted, and instead continue to dwell on the bodiless and bloodless massacre at Lekki Toll Gate. They did not see anything wrong in the public and private properties that were burnt or looted. Neither did they see anything wrong in the fact that some of the businesses that were looted belonged to struggling young men and women. All they could see in their biased view of the whole situation was a hoax massacre. Still on the alleged Lekki Toll Gate massacre, one of the purveyors of fake news and disinformation during the NSAS crisis was one D-Day Switch, a real name, Obianuju Catherine Ude, even though she claimed to have authentic evidence of mass killings. Surprisingly, instead of presenting whatever evidence she may have to the judicial panel, she chose to escape from the country under the pretext that her life was in danger. I ask, in danger from whom? The military has come out to say they never sought after her. To the best of our knowledge, the police never declared her wanted. Her conduct thus becomes suspect. Who is she fronting for? What is her real motive? Who are her sponsors? If she has any evidence of killings, why is she not presenting such evidence to the panel? If she was so desperate for asylum in any country, does she have to resort to blatant falsehood to tarnish the image of the country just to achieve her aim? In the fullness of time, this lady will be exposed for what she is, a fraud and a front for divisive and destructive forces. At this juncture, we want to appeal to countries that have made very hasty judgments on the basis of fake news and disinformation emanating from the NSAS crisis to endeavor to seek and find the truth. In the aftermath of the NSAS crisis, the National Broadcasting Commission fined 3 broadcast stations for using unverified and dangerous information from social media. Commentators, many of whom did not even know why the NBC imposed the fines, rushed to allege an attempt to stifle free speech. Unknown to them, the stations themselves know what they have done. They know they have breached the broadcasting code. 2 of them have paid their fines in full, while the third has paid a part of the fine with an appeal for time to pay the balance. The position of the federal government is that not only were the fines justified, the NBC was indeed very lenient. It is sad to see the traditional media throwing away the age-long gatekeeping process and instead rushing to rely on the freewheeling social media, devoid of any gatekeeping, for news. Sadly, there's an emerging trend today in which even the traditional media is freely using materials from social media without taking the pains to verify their authenticity. This is a dangerous trend that must be curbed in the interest of the media practitioners themselves, the profession, and indeed the country. At the NBC wielded the big stick. Some broadcasts media organization would have faced more severe sanctions than mere fines. Recall that an otherwise reputable broadcast media organization had carried a fake report that the Ecumenical Center in Abuja had been set on fire during the violence that followed the protest. Though the same organization later retraced the story, the kind of reprisal attack this could have sparked is better imagined. Also, another reputable broadcast media organization featured a report that identified a maintenance worker atop a bank building overlooking the Lekki toll gate as a sniper, leading to attacks that destroyed many of the bank's branches. The organizations have not even been sanctioned for this terrible disinformation. Yet, rabble-rousers have latched on to the fines to make all sorts of baseless allegations. In conclusion, gentlemen, let me reiterate the following. A, the federal government was responsive and responsible in meeting the demands of the NSAS protesters. B, the irresponsible use of the social media by some unscrupulous persons aggravated the violence that erupted in the wake of the NSAS protests and helped to precipitate the violence. While the government has no plans to shut down the internet, it will work with stakeholders to regulate the social media to curb abuse. C, those who use the social media responsibly have nothing to fear. But those who abuse it have every reason to be worried, as no responsible government will stand by and allow elements to set the country ablaze. D, CNN goofed in a preconceived stance that the soldiers who were deployed to Lekki toll gate indeed shot at protesters, killing some of them. CNN relied heavily on unverified and possibly doctored videos, as well as information sourced from questionable sources to reach its conclusion. This should earn CNN a serious sanction for irresponsible reporting. E, while judicial panel sitting in Lagos works to unravel what really transpired at the Lekki toll gate, available evidence so far points to the world's first case of massacre without blood or bodies. F, the federal government commends the security agencies for acting professionally and showing utmost restraint all through the NSAS protest and ensuing violence, an action that saved lives and properties. G, human rights organizations should note that the security agents are also human beings and they have rights too. Even if the organizations, for whatever reasons, are reluctant to recognize the human rights of security agents, they should stop vilifying them as they are wont to do. It's also disheartening that the human rights organizations have not seen anything wrong in the mindless violence that was perpetrated in the name of NSAS. H, DJ Switch should quit peddling falsehood and present her case with verifiable evidence to the judicial panel sitting in Lagos. No agency of government has declared her wanted. Hence, she has no reason fleeing or seeking asylum anywhere. I, the sanctions imposed on some broadcast media organizations by the National Broadcasting Commission are justified in view of the unprofessional acts of the organizations which were in clear breach of the Broadcasting Code as stated by the Commission. It is also imperative for the traditional media to authenticate information from the social media before pushing such to the public. Gentlemen, I thank you for your very kind attention. I will now take your questions, which must be strictly on issues I've addressed here. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we are now moving into the question and answer section. Please, like I said earlier, when you are recognized to speak, please tell us your name, the media organization you are representing. And please restrict your questions to the issues addressed. Please. Okay, 1, 2. Now let's take from the other side if you have. Okay, let's start with you. Let's start with you, please.
Honorable Mr. My name is Imabuja. I work for Bangladesh. You said that CNN good, and you called for sanctions against that organization. You are the Minister of Information here. Who are you expecting?
So you said that this is not wanted. If this is happening, how will she be sure that if she comes back, she will not be arrested?
Good morning, Honorable Minister. My name is Ajay Mahmood. I'm freelance here on behalf of CNN. In highlighting the Army's testimony at the Parliament, because he said that live ammunition was fired. But could you directly comment on CNN's findings in this report, specifically about the presence of ammunition at the on the 20th of October? And also, what would you say to some family members based on that report who are searching for the loved ones and are looking for answers?
Honorable Minister, you may wish to just give your response before we take another question.
Thank you. I think the first question is, what are we I think the first question is that as the Minister of Information and Culture.
Yeah, you are saying that CNN should be.
So, do you expect to sanction them?
I'm wondering who should sanction CNN or what kind of sanction do you expect?
Yes, thank you. I believe that CNN itself has internal mechanism to discipline airing staff and representatives. But on our own part also, we will do the needful. The second question is DJ Switch. That I said is not wanted, and that and you say after all there are some people who are NSAS protesters who are been detained or who have been harassed by the authorities. My answer is very simple. The fact that you are an NSAS protester does not grant you immunity from lawful investigation, lawful arrest. And it's on record that even some of those who had been arrested had been freed by the High Court, and even those whose accounts are being investigated, have been blocked, the CBN went to court and got proper order. And I know that even one of them whose passport was impounded has had her passport released. In other words, what we're saying is that we would not do anything unlawful or purely as evasions. The security authorities must not be impeded in investigating anybody, provided they do so lawfully. And I think the third question is from the Senate representative.
About the blank bullets.
Yes. Now, you see, I have absolutely no reason to doubt the testimony of Brigadier General Ahmed Taiwo, who said blank ammo was fired. And the question I would actually want to ask CNN, where did they get their own live bullets from? You see, because the general gave his testimony publicly and went as far as saying this is what black ammo does, and that nobody can stand and face live ammunition. That if indeed the soldiers fired live ammunition at protesters, bodies will litter the ground. We never said soldiers did not go to the toll gate. Of course they did. They shot into the air. And we want to be contradicted. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay,
Honorable Minister, good morning. My name is Igo Kereba. I work for the Guardian newspaper. A lot of the paragraphs in the statement talked about the ongoing judicial panel inquiry in Lagos, and that everyone is awaiting the outcome. But also, in another breath, you have discharged and acquitted the army, the security forces, and you have said that there are no bodies. Now, is this not putting some pressure on the outcome of the judicial panel of inquiry? Thank you, sir.
May I ask you, how does that put pressure on the panel? I said, while awaiting the outcome of the panel, as of today, this is the situation. And I say, if there's anybody who knows anybody whose son or daughter or what is missing, or who was at the toll gate, Lekki, on the 20th, and is unaccounted for, such fellows should please proceed straight to the judicial panel. So how am I putting pressure on the judicial panel?
My name is Felix Coleman, and I write for Reuters Foreign Agency. You said CNN is going to be sanctioned.
Should be sanctioned.
Yes. What is the likelihood? What kind of sanctions do you likely will mention? That's one. Two. The federal government have asked the organizers of NSAT, to the youths, to send a representative for dialogue. And at the same time, some of the organizers, some of the members are being prosecuted, their accounts are being frozen. How do you dialogue, prosecution? Do you think they will have the confidence of really coming to have a dialogue with the federal government? What's your reaction?
Felix, I explained in respect of your first question, which was that,
CNN. How do they want CNN?
I said CNN itself has internal mechanism to sanction airing staff. But in addition, we will also do the needful. Make that clear. Two, I don't see any contradiction in asking the NSAS people to come forward. Bring your leadership. The government wants to engage with you. And we're not just saying this now. We said that before the NSAS protest was hijacked by hoodlums. That's a different thing from investigating the roles of anybody, not just NSAS. And as long as these investigations are done lawfully, I said again, being a member of NSAS does not grant you immunity if you have broken the laws of the land. Thank you.
The last question for the Honourable Minister, thank you for the briefing. I have an observation and a question. You just, like what my colleague said the other time, you were treating the military, a clean bill of health on this matter. But I don't know if you've taken into consideration the conflicting statements and testimony of the military and the Lagos state government on this Lekki shooting from the beginning, before the Brown Tyrone testimony. Do you think that Nigerians will believe you when you say we should stick to what you are saying now, when they have been following the conflicting testimony of the military and the Lagos state government? Secondly, sir, you have also been directing Nigerians, including DK Switch, to go to the panel. Are you also aware that that panel is a subject of controversy? That some Nigerians have even approached the court to stop the panel from sitting. That even the governor of Lagos State, based on the conflicting testimony they have given himself, should not be setting up a panel to prove the incidents. Please, we need comments on this issue.
Thank you, but who are you?
My name is Ramon Carl and I work with New Telegraph.
Noted, thank you. Now, I'll take your second question first. The fact that some lawyers have gone to court to ask that the court should disband the panel does not make that panel illegal. Until a court pronounces on the legality or otherwise of that panel is legal, is free to take evidence from anybody. On your first question is to...
You said there's contradiction between the government and the army.
I think, you see, if you listen carefully to my address, I quoted the testimony of the brigadier. And I said again, I have absolutely no reason to doubt his integrity. And I said, as of today, the only testimony before the panel and before us is the testimony of the brigadier. And until and when his testimony is disproved by other evidence, that is the position of things. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, this is the most we can take. We want to thank you for the time. We have come to the end of this press conference. Thank you and God bless you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, my brothers and sisters, my mummies and my daddies over there. Is your sister again, your doctor, your friend, your girl, Anointed Lady TV. Please, if today is your first time of coming across my YouTube channel, please do subscribe for me. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So each time I upload any video, you will be notified. So in this my channel, I will be bringing up many things to you, which you will benefit from it. I do talk show, I do news, anything you want to talk about, I am into it. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell So each time I upload any video or each time I'm on live on YouTube, you will be notified. Thank you very much for always being there for me. Please do subscribe for me, and as you do so, God will richly bless you and meet your heart desire. Thank you very much. I love you all.